Alright, welcome back everyone. Um, if you're watching this video along with my other ones, I just want to say thank you. I did start this series to help new players, returning players. It looks like also other players are also watching to maybe either pick up some tips or just see what the hell I'm talking about. So yeah, thank you for watching. One of my original goals was to help these new players because it's so important to maintain new players. New players might even recommend it to another friend, and that just kind of builds the whole community, helps it grow the player base. So hopefully, new players, new people are still trying this game out, recommending it to friends. They like it as well because it's such an amazing game that not too many people know about. Um, it's almost, people say it's just like a console game. You have the story, you have the graphics. It's unlike any other mobile app. This game started as a mobile app, and then it was ported over to Steam. So hopefully everyone is enjoying their time playing. As of today, they did announce the end of service. Basically, um, the game is ending right around June, end of June. So with that said, a lot of my tips are going to kind of change a little bit. It's definitely going to focus a lot more on uh, how to enjoy the story, getting tips to just finish the story. And I won't go so much into unnecessary tips that are more advanced, mechanics that are that takes more for high level plays. You don't need to know all of that to enjoy the game. So for the next couple of months, just you know, I would still, it's still important to learn to play the game, because what I see is a lot of people get stuck in a certain place, and that's because they don't really understand the mechanics behind the game. The importance of buffs, debuffs, which I'll go over this video. Using the right jobs, cards, sometimes weapons as well. Job change recast, I'm going to go over that in this video. So I'm just going to go over some of these still kind of beginner tips, enough to make sure you know what you're doing. That way you're having fun, and because it is kind of frustrating if you're stuck on a boss or stuck on a node. So that's what I'm going to focus on. I'm also going to still address a few questions. I do still see a few questions being asked that I didn't go over, so I'll address some of those as well. Okay, so where to start? Let's start with this is something I did want to talk about, the difficulty in the game. If you go to the ETC tab and then configurations, you can actually, there's a battle difficulty for the game. So basically the mobs, the enemies will have, I believe, maybe a little bit more HP, maybe a little bit more defense. I'm not sure about that, but basically the battles will be just a little bit more difficult, and you can get I believe what affects the difficulty affects the battle rewards. That's what I'm trying to say. So you get a little bit more EXP, a little bit more gil. So if you feel like you can take on the hard difficulty, I would just leave it on hard. You get a little bit more. But if it feels like it's too difficult, you can just turn it down to normal. And again, the goal here is to finish the game, enjoy the game. So whatever is best to help you out with that. I'm gonna tone this down too because Echo was screaming in that last video. Okay, nothing else is too important here. Okay. Another big question that I see a lot is cards. What cards do I sell? What cards do I keep? You might want to invest a little bit in your bank. So you have two places you can store your cards. You have the I'll call this the inventory, your ability cards, and then your bank. And they're both really the same. The only difference is that when you're setting up your deck, you can only grab stuff from your inventory. So it's kind of like a two-step process. If you have something in your bank, you would have to transfer it over from your bank into your inventory, and then you can use it in your inventory, in your setting up your cards. So it's kind of a two-step, but it is cheaper. to buy bank space. So if you go down to expand card slot and expand card bank, expanding inventory costs a little bit more magicite than if you were to expand your excuse me, expand your bank. So it's cheaper to expand the bank. So early on, might want to just expand your bank. That way you can hold more stuff and save your magicite more for summoning. There's no good number, just expand as much as you feel like you need. But I'm gonna go over what cards to sell. That way you can free up more space. Okay, so what cards to sell? One of the things I kind of glossed over in the other videos is the importance of augmenting. This is not necessary, but in the long run, it does help. When you augment the card, basically every future version of that card will drop at that rarity. So I'll pull up a few cards here. And this goes for both summon, so when you summon a card, it's going to drop at that rarity, or when you kill an enemy in battle, it will also drop that rarity of that, that rarity. It'll stay at that rarity. So I'll go to my card catalog to showcase this. Might be easier to do it that way. Okay, so here are some of the early mobs that you'll see early on. So let's say this 1-star Dust Soldier. So you kill him in battle, he drops his card, and he's at 1 star. If you were to sell him at 1 star, should show. Please. Okay, does not show. I must be thinking of something else. Okay. Hold that dot. Hold that dot. Okay, well, if you were to sell him at 1 star, he would probably sell for, just to give a rough number, somewhere around 100 gil. But if you augment him to 2 star, so we'll go down to his 2 star version, which might be somewhere around might be easier if I sort this. Okay, so his 2 star version, I believe it's this one right here. So this is his 2 star version, or 3 star. If you augment him to his 3 star, he's going to sell for a little bit more. Oh please, I know you can see this somewhere. They must have changed this. There must be something I'm missing. That's where you can always see the amount they sell for in the screen. Okay, well he's gonna sell for a little bit more, so you're gonna have to take my word for it. So when you augment from 1 star to a 2 star to a 3 star, here's his 2 star, I believe, Dust Soldier, Flame Sword. He's gonna always drop at this 3 star, and when you sell him, he's basically gonna give you a little bit more gil. And and this answers that question. All these enemies that you get in game, I guess we'll call them mob enemy drops, you can sell them. They're basically old abilities, so Flame Sword, that you fuse into these old cards. So it'll be Ares, and he gives Flame Sword. So all these enemies, all these mobs, you can just turn on auto sell, and that way when you kill them in battle, it'll just sell for some gil. So that's hopefully answers that question. You can sell all these enemy drops. When you get to Act 2, there are a few useful ones, so you might want to keep a few of those. A few of the Act 2, when you get there, a few of those are useful. Also in Act 1, when you get to the final chapter, chapter 8, I believe, they're going to give you some They call it the Arch Lieutenants. Those cards are, I would keep those as well. They have uses. So I'll pull one up here. There's one for each element. Not each element. Fire, wind, water, earth. So for fire, Arch Mirliff. Keep that. It's an Arch Lieutenant. It doesn't really... It'll say like one of Chaos Lieutenants. If you're doing the digest, it should be fully maxed. If you're doing the regular story, I believe you have to level them up yourself. So keep all 4 of them. There's 4 again, 1 for each of the 4 main elements. Arch Kraken. I'll go over the other ones. Arch Tiamat. And then I think it's Arch Lich. Yeah, so 4. So those are the Chaos Lieutenants. Keep those. But everything else you can sell. There's no need to really keep any of those. Just augment them to 3-star and then you can sell. The other question of what cards to sell. So when you pull in when you do your summons, you'll get some duplicates of cards. There are very few cards that you need duplicates of. So if you get the same card, let's say for example, if I pull another one of, let me see if I have any that I can do right now. In fact. Okay. So there's just there's not a need to keep 2 of the same card. Early on, you can actually just fuse the card into that card, raise the ability level. So you can do that, or you can just sell them. It might be easier if I just. There's no easy way for me to do this. I wish I had it all kind of prepared. But if you have 2 of the same card. I have 2 right here, I know, but if you have, let's say, 2 of these cards, you can just sell 1, keep 1, or you can fuse 1 into the other, and that will raise its ability level. But most cards that you summon, most of the older cards, they're early acquisition cards, they end up being in the shop. Eventually, they'll have a place where you can just farm the fodder to raise its ability level. So, Kegnazzle, if you have 2 Kegnazzle, I would sell 1 and then just come to this map and just farm Kegnazzle fodders. The reason for that is when you sell that second Kegnazzle, you get ability tickets. So, and then you can use those ability tickets to level up other cards like your Supremes. So, just a little recap. Sell any extra cards, any copies that you get, so you get ability tickets. And then most likely you can farm that card in the Yggdrasil maps. So I'm going to showcase one right now. This is a useful card as well that I missed. It's called Pollen Salta. So support cards are very useful because you can use them in all setups. So Pollen Salta, let's say you pull her at 3-star. I'll go ahead and do 3-star. So I'm just kind of showcasing here. Okay, so I have a 3-star Pollen Salta. It's level 1, has nothing on there. So if you want to start first, you can augment the card. I've always leveled up the ability level first. So first you have to find out where the card is. You can kind of just go through each of the names here and see if you find it, like Pollen Salta. But if you Google, should be Mobius best farming locations. Somebody on the Gamepedia actually I've been using that since really early on. Somebody keeps a list of all the ability cards that come through the Yggdrasil. So you can search Control F, search for Pollen Salta on that page, and it should show, I believe it's zone 3. Just gonna scroll through here just to confirm. Here it is. So Pollen Salta. So once you find the card, jump to that map. You find a node. Where's the node? Here it is. Life orb. So it's kind of pink color. And the best time to do this is on Mobius Day. So Mobius Day is every 8th, every day that ends in an 8. So the 8th, the 18th, and the 28th. Each one of those days will drop level 2 fodders. So that's the best time to farm this. And then fusion rate is also increased as well. So when you fuse the fodder into Pollen Salta, it will also be increased. I don't know if I have it on auto sell. I'll just take a chance and we'll just do it. Real quick, I'll go over setting up a deck again in case you missed the previous video. First main deck, you should probably just use EXP eggs. Most of the time you can beat the nodes with your sub, so you can just load up a whole bunch of EXP cards that give EXP. Rat 2020 I think is probably the best one right now, gives a lot of EXP and a lot of gil, as well as Seed Stealer, which gives you some extra bonus seeds. For your sub job, you want to have the important buffs again. Faith and Haste I think are the two most important. Anything else that you can fit in, there's a lot of other buffs. Snipe, Boost, Trance, Enhanced Elements, Berserk if you want Berserk. There's a lot of other buffs that you can use. Just make sure you have all your buffs, so that as much buffs as you can rather, so that you can do damage. You know, that's the whole goal, that you want to do damage, you want to finish the fight. And then the other two cards, you want to make use of what your job is good in. So Soldier First Class has a lot of Enhanced Earth, and you can go with Enhanced Water or Enhanced Dark, both are also good. I did want to go into, you know, what other things are to consider in a job, so maybe I'll do that real quick. You can skip over this, it's not too important. But so when you look at a job, it's not just the enhanced element that you look for. You also look at some of the other auto abilities. We'll start with some of the green ones. The green ones usually are more like damage modifiers. Blue ones are more it's hard to say. So we'll start with the green ones. The green ones, so Painful Break, you do more damage during break. So if you break an enemy, you'll get this much more damage done. Exploit Weakness, when you do damage to that weakness, when you do damage of the weakness element, you get this little bonus. Improve Critical, every time you do a critical strike, you'll do this much more damage. Ability Chain, every time you chain that same ability, you'll do more damage. So a lot of these damage modifiers you want to look for as well. Some of the newer jobs have really high Exploit Weakness, so they become kind of weakness specialists. Improve Crit is always good, you just have to make sure you can land that critical hits. Prismatic Return is also very important to look for in a job. Jobs that have even a little bit innate 10% helps to kind of keep the flow going in a battle. Ravage increases cone and area attacks, that's also a very nice little bonus. And then some of the other ones are going to be more towards break, so things like Flash Break and Piercing, those are to help you break better. So that's what you want to look for in a job. Some jobs are better at breaking, some jobs are better at offensive attacking. So and then there are some jobs that are just like tanks or healers, so they don't have as much. So you want to look for that, you know, when choosing a job, what job is good. Most likely you want to go with something that can attack, you know, kind of go through the battles a little bit faster. I'll just put some old cards here. I want to do UV. Let's see that in battle. Okay, so now we're doing Pollen Salta. Again, best day to do this, Mobius day, but if you feel like you have some extra stamina, maybe you're stuck on story, then go ahead and hit up this place. Farm those fodders, pick up the extra skills, extra ability cards to help you with battle. I'm playing the auto play here, but essentially you want to try and cast your buffs turn 1, and then you can use whatever cards necessary to win the battle. So these are the easy mobs. When you get to enemies that are more difficult, you may need to start breaking them. So that's this orange bar beneath them. I'll go over cards, in fact, that's going to be important. Otherwise you can nuke them. As you get to more difficult battles as well, you might want to start fitting in debuffs. So just as you're buffing yourself up with haste and faith, you may want to put some debuffs on the enemy, so that will either weaken their defenses, or you can even stun them as well. So that's also just as important as buffs. I finished this node, and the whole node only gives fodder, so hopefully it's not on auto sell. Okay, so I got 5. There we go. All insulted. So this card, it's like a little tome, I guess, a little book scroll. And it drops at level 1, but if it's Mobius Day, it will be dropping at level 2. So what you want to do is you go into your fusion, pull up Pollen Salta, select the fusion card. It tells you the rates, so it's 40%, so you can take the gamble and do an 80% to raise that level. Or if you want to be safe, you can do 3, make it 100%, get that card up to level 2. And then so forth until you max the card. So next step you'll want to do is you want to eventually, I like to max the level first, so get this up to level 4, because right now it's a 20% to get it to level 3. For some reason, I'm not sure if it's, I might be completely wrong, but if you augment the card up to, let's say, 5-star, so in fact what I'm going to do instead of augmenting, I already made a 5-star card. Don't forget to purchase your daily deals. So Gilgamesh Path, always worth it. Elixirs, pretty worth it. I would say just worth it in general. Ability tickets you can hold off if you don't have as much gil. So ability shop, let's say you augment the card up to 5-star. I'm just gonna buy it, but pretend that you augment it if you don't have a 5-star. So no, okay, so it looks like it is the same rate, 40%. So yeah, I believe you can augment and then fuse. It's the same as if you were to fuse it, get its ability level up, and then augment. It should be the same, but at some point you need to augment to 5-star, and then max its ability level to get that to level 6, and then just use it in battle so that you unlock these extra skills. And that's pretty much how you just max out a card. So this is the standard route for these normal cards that you get in shop. In the previous video, what I was doing was, if you get a Supreme, if you pull a Supreme, the only way to level up this card is through the ticket fusion. So I didn't want to confuse anyone there. You want to save these tickets for Supreme cards, so you only use this ticket fusion for Supreme cards, because that's the only way you can do it. But if you get any cards in shop, most likely they will be in Yggdrasil, so you can farm the fodder, and that's more cheaper, especially you're gonna be low on resources, so you're gonna need to do that. Real quick, I guess I'll go over the cards. You can kind of categorize cards into kind of maybe four different categories. So you'll have cards that are like the life support cards. Those cards are good for they're good for supporting. Gives buffs, gives debuffs. There are some common ones. They give the same common buffs: haste, faith, snipe. And then there are going to be some of the unique ones. I'm trying to pull up my ability cards. Okay. Yeah, so there's going to be some of the common ones and then some of the unique ones. Unique ones may give a specific buff. Some of them are limited to Supremes. Some of them gives ult charge. They charge your ultimate. Some of them give resistance to elements. So there are some unique ones, and then there are just the common buffs, cards that give the common buffs. So early on, you'll just focus on the common buffs. Make sure you have haste, faith, that's important, snipe, boost. And then as for cards, I would categorize them into two So you have cards that have high attack, so they're like attack cards, like UB, Ultimate Unbreakable Bonds I was using earlier, has really high attack, but very low break power. So this card is mainly for nuking an enemy. And then you have cards that are really good at break power. They have high break power. So this card is 2100 break power and less attack. These cards are more used to clear that orange, the yellow below the HP bar, and then that helps you to break the enemy. And then depending on what card it is, some cards can also do a little bit of damage. So this card can still do a little bit of damage. So it can be used kind of like a 2-in-1. So you want to look for what your card is good for, and that's what cards you should keep. Typically, generally, I like to keep one of each. So keep one card that's good for attack, and then keep one card that's good for breaking, clearing that yellow to break an enemy, and that's all you really need. The other cards, these are again more for kind of higher level enemies. You'll want cards that give force. So force basically keeps it guarantees that you'll get your entire orb gauge will turn that element, so that you'll always get that same element. So cards that give force will be very useful later on. And there's going to be early on you'll have the support cards. It should be in shop, that give that dark force if you do need something like that. So yeah, that's how I would categorize cards. Anything else you can kind of sell. So we'll take, for example, maybe let me go to a different element. We'll go to light. So this is my attack card, and then I will have something like this, which is my break card. So one of each, and then anything extra is just going to be extra. We can go to another one up here, Earth Ranger. This card is going to be my attack card, and then something like this card will be my break card, or even this card will be more focused on break. So one of each, just as a rough idea of what card is good. Again, there's a lot of cards to go over. So if you sort by newest to oldest, cards in this kind of first section right up here are generally good, and then cards, if you get a card that's somewhere like way down here, not that good. So some of these are still in the shop to my knowledge. Yeah, some of these really old cards, they're not that good. So if you pull a card, these aren't that good. Again, there are some exceptions. You have cards that are anniversary cards or limited time. Those may have some usage. They're considered, more unique. They have something unique about them. So that's just a rough general idea. If you're trying to compare the two, best thing is to just compare the stats of the card. So if you pulled something like this card, compare the stats. This card has 400 attack compared to, you can sort it in fact by Wind Warrior. So that card earlier, I think it was this one, 400 attack, 10 break. Compare with some of the newer cards. Actually, I'm going to compare the 3-star. That would be more fair. So 410, okay, still the same, with something like this card. So this card is more break focused. And then this card is also more break focused. So you can compare. You only need, between these two cards, I would keep this one and then maybe this one. So one of each. That's how I would keep cards. If you get something better for wind, then you replace one. You can either sell it, or you can just toss it in the bank if you're not sure if you want to keep it or not. Okay, so that covers over cards. Kind of went over jobs a little bit more in depth. The last thing I think people do ask is that they're low on resources, so seeds, crystals. Doing the story and events, I think, is the fastest way, because you do get to, one, enjoy the content, and then two, you get those little rewards from chests. But if you need to farm, We'll start with crystals. On Mobius Day, this Pleiades Lagoon does open up. Early on, it was good. I think even now it's mediocre. So, but this place always guarantees a Crystal Gigantar up here. So it's expensive. It costs 60 stamina, but you always get a Crystal Gigantar. So this is not a bad place on Mobius Day. On certain days, this opens as well. I think today's Sunday, so on Sundays you can also do it here. But you can see there's nobody here, so it's kind of outdated. The better place that most people will go to is the Yggdrasil materials, and this is where I go as well. So for half the stamina, 30 stamina, you're basically just gonna fight a assortment of enemies, and there's a chance for that Crystal Gigantar to come out. But you have 30 waves, so there's a lot of there's a lot of chances for this Crystal Gigantar. So one of these two nodes, I think more people lean towards this one. Let me just take a look and see why. Okay, yeah, so this one drops metal. This one you have a chance for gold. Gold is for more gil. Gil is a little bit more useful. So you have a chance for Crystal Gigantars and gold, which gives the gil. 30 stamina, 30 waves. So yeah, just set up this node, and if you can bump your main deck up instead of EXP, there are some cards that give Crystal Seeker. So the Chocobo Mystery Dungeon. Yes, Chocobo Mystery Dungeon. You're just gonna have to look. Again, resources online. There's a Gamepedia, subreddit. Look for cards that give this Crystal Seeker. And basically, with the Crystal Seeker up, when you kill a Crystal Gigantar, there's a chance it's going to drop one crystal, and then with your Crystal Seeker, the higher it is, that one crystal may be 3 crystals instead. So basically it's increasing the chance of dropping, well, it looks like it also increases the chance of getting crystals as well in general, so chances of it dropping just 1, but also that 1 into a 3. It was a recent update. So Crystal Seeker if you're trying to farm up crystals, and this node right here in Yggdrasil materials. That's about it. Kind of just wanted to go over some more little tips. Again, leave comments below. I haven't seen too many, so if there's something you want to know in particular, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going based off questions that I see and things that I kind of come up with that I think would be useful that I would like to know starting the games. Alright everyone, hope you're enjoying playing the game. Thank you again for watching. Hope you have a good rest of your day.